and went on in our master's degree to have a first class as well in architecture. Yeah, and I'll be very honest with you. I want to tell you about my journey in Caleb. Both of us were entrepreneurs in Caleb, let me tell you. You know, but we did it within what was allowed. You know, for example, Basi here it was the person that I would take all my printing jobs to. You know, it was printing for the entire department of architecture, you know, and I also had one or two things I was doing. I was both for profits and non-profits. You know, I was heading Club 200 here in Caleb, where we took indigent youths in Imota through university. With volunteers amongst all the students here in Caleb. So we were both, you know, entrepreneurs in some sort of way. But I'll tell you how my journey went on. People of Caleb, or students of Caleb, I was able to join a competition, which was Unilever Nigeria marketing competition. And that was my first, I would say, my first insight into entrepreneurship and how entrepreneurs actually solve problems. And you always have to look inwards, not outwards, to solving problems. In that journey, I represented Caleb, and we were third nationally in Nigeria. Of course, collaborating with my peers, it wasn't just me. And this was how I was able to launch out into having a mindset that wants to solve problems. I wasn't thinking of worldwide. I was thinking of, you know, what are solutions in my immediate environment that I can solve. Moving out of Caleb, I worked with Unilever for a while, and it was afterwards, during the COVID, that I began my agriculture company. It's an agro-processing company that creates convenient, nutrient-dense products for a fast-paced world. I noticed that many of my young peers were having illnesses with PCOS-related issues, high blood pressure, and it was so rampant amongst young people. And we decided that young people need to start consuming veggies, but in a very, you know, convenient way. And that was how we kick-started. To be very factual, entrepreneurship is not beans. It's not beans. It comes with, it looks good on the outside, you know. And I would say that being in a confined environment like Caleb and practicing entrepreneurship was good. But stepping outside Caleb was a different ballgame entirely, very different. Of course, I experienced the challenges of my parents thinking, first-class graduates, why do you want to be a farmer? You know? Yeah, so I definitely understand how you would feel. And it was until I started making exploits that my parents began to see that, okay, she's onto something here. Let's allow her to be. So you have to prove yourself. It's very different. You have to, you know, the Bible says that we must produce fruits. You have to be a fruit-bearing tree. It's very important. It's a different ballgame entirely. I would want to, right now where I'm standing, I mean, I've definitely sold over 10,000 packs of my products across Nigeria, you know, and I mean, it has been good. I'm making waves to the glory of God, yeah. But I want to encourage everyone and tell you that the world is your oyster. Take this time to practice. You know, you have this innovative idea. Keep studying it. You have 4 years here, or whether it's 2, 3, or 1 year, but you have the entire time outside university to implement these great ideas. So use this time to practice, because the implementation is going to be real. So I'm waiting for everyone here. Please come and join us. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Please, I just want to just add something. Yeah, in terms of the entrepreneurship, we technically, I'm hoping that Professor Owens wasn't here. This is how we did it. We technically didn't break the rule. of like, because I know that Caleb University had a system where you can really do it. Instead, what we did was that we surrendered the business, because it was a core business. In architecture, for instance, students need to print, right? And at that time, we didn't have enough printers. So I got my printer and surrendered it to the department, in quotes. I now came back to volunteer to manage it. See the case of Moses. And so there are legal ways where we can always find key, but you have to think about like a key pain points where you can get the departments involved. Because that way, when the university management came, like tried to come at us, our department came to shield us because we're offering a core service. And this was a service. The other alternative was to go out of the school to print. They said no, that we already have a system here that can work. But the thing that you don't try to do it illegally, it will backfire. You could have unnecessary problems, and you don't want to be caught breaking the rules. Do you understand? But I know that there's a way where you can get your department involved, and then try, but it has to now be like a core pain point. So I hope that does give someone one or two ideas. Thank you.
Please, can we give them a lovely round of applause? And I think this is a wonderful experience we should hear about, because they survived here. Now, most of you think you can't survive. They survived and became what they are today. And we are also using this medium as a school to pray for you, to continue to grow in your endeavors and be more successful, and as you are good flag bearers of Caleb University, God will continue to increase your knowledge. So finally, on the presentation level, we have Mrs. Temitokwe Omole, Head of Programs for Sequel News TV, to give us a 2-minute or 1-minute presentation on how entrepreneurship would definitely work for us.
Okay. Good afternoon. I won't sue you for murdering the name of our organization, but the organization is actually called Souk News. The word is S-O-U-Q. If you open your handbill, is on